can't find nothing on the radio.
You ready, Steve?
Welcome to Songology. He's Bruce.
He's Richard.
And this is another episode from our Song of the Day archives.
Enjoy.
Welcome back, Bruce. We're on the road. We're doing a virtual field trip. What's happening today?
Well, we're still in Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Okay, we're in the same
We're going to spend quite a while there.
Okay.
Because we're just going to walk through a whole bunch of the history of that, because there's some really great music that came out of there. Now, when we last were in Muscle Shoals, Arthur Alexander had just recorded You Better Move On. And just like, you know how they say that Nat King Cole's Records built the Capitol Record Building in Los Angeles?
Yes.
Well, Arthur Alexander's hit song, You Better Move On, built Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Rick Hall made enough money from that single that he could get out of the abandoned tobacco warehouse on the outskirts of town. He bought himself a plot of land right in Muscle Shoals and built a studio. It was modeled on the RCA studios up the road in Nashville, because that was kind of the state-of-the-art place. And Rick Hall, as a musician himself, had passed through those places and had paid attention when he was there. So he put together the studio, he put together an absolutely ace group of musicians, and they started cranking out music and had a lot of success, including up until a song by a fellow by the name of Jimmy Hughes called Steal Away, which was a huge R&B hit. The people involved with that, though, saw the money that was being made and decided that they would be happier starting their own studio. And so that was the first time, and not the only time, that the musicians at Fame Studios packed up and left and started their own studio somewhere else. Those guys all moved to Nashville and became very, very successful, particularly in the country music industry, for many years. So there's Rick Hall with all of his musicians gone. He goes out and immediately assembles a brand new studio group. And that was maybe, arguably, right up there with Booker T and the MGs at Stax Records, maybe the most famous studio musicians ever. This was the group that became known as the Swampers. That's drummer Roger Hawkins, bass player David Hood, a guitarist Jimmy Johnson, a keyboard player Barry Beckett, also keyboard player Spooner Oldham. And there were other guys, but they were the core of the group that became known as the Swampers. Now, while this was going on, other people were bouncing around Muscle Shoals. Things were really starting to cook. And there was a guy by the name of Quinn Ivey, who was a radio DJ. He had recording equipment on his own. He had approached Rick Hall and said, look, if there's stuff that you can't do, that you can't handle, would you mind if I did it? And we could work together on it. And Rick Hall said, sure, no, great, just do what you can. Well, there was another fellow who was a local boy by the name of Percy Sledge, and Percy was an orderly at the local hospital in the daytime. He had also had a sort of a night job. He would play gigs in a local band called the Esquires Combo. And Percy had always loved to sing and has a extremely powerful voice. In fact, he sang as a very, very young man. He was out literally picking cotton by hand in the fields and used to love to sing out there where he could get echoes and reverbs off the trees at the edge of the fields and so forth. And he would also sing in the hospital to the patients when asked, because he was very good. And the patients really, really enjoyed it. And he was kind of flattered that the patients would ask him. Well, Percy had a girlfriend he was very, very attached to. They had been together for 3 years, and she had an opportunity to go and work as a model. She got a modeling job in Los Angeles. And so she left. Percy didn't have any money to go after her. There was nothing he could do to try to get her back. He felt terrible. And so he was moping around as, broken-hearted people will do. Well, the story goes that one night he and the Esquires were playing a gig, and he was really not feeling very good. He wasn't really very happy. And so he said to the band, he's not being able to concentrate on what he was supposed to sing. He says to the band, look, can you guys just play something with a slow blues tune? Any key, any tempo, just give me something as a slow blues tune. And so there's what's described in some places as a conference among musicians, although it seems to have been the conference consisted of the musicians looking at each other and sort of shrugging and rolling their eyes. Oh, okay, whatever.
Yep.
And so away they go. And Percy just vented all of his feelings in song that he sort of made up on the spot. And so for about 5 or 6 minutes, Percy just sang his heart out. Now, Quinn Ivy happened to be at the show, and he approached the band after the show and said, "That piece that you did there, what was that?" And Percy explained what had happened. And he said, "Well, that would really, really, I think, be something. Would you be interested in polishing it up and recording it?" Percy agreed. Off they went to record it. And that is where When a Man Loves a Woman came from.
Ah.
That's Percy Sledge singing his heart out to his absent girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
Now, when the track was done, Quinn Ivy took it to Rick Hall and said, "Here's this tune. What do you think?" And Rick Hall says, "Absolutely, this is a hit." He sends it up because he had an arrangement with Jerry Wexler at Atlantic Records in New York. If you get something that's really, really good, send it up right away. And so Hall fires off When a Man Loves a Woman. And he gets word back that Wexler has heard it and says, no, he's not really interested. And so Hall phones Wexler and basically says, "Are you nuts?" And Wexler quite taken aback because he doesn't know Hall very well at that point.
Yeah.
"What do you mean, am I nuts?" And Hall says, "This is a #1 hit. This is a #1 hit around the world. This is a great, great song. You lost your ears, right?"
Yeah.
To which Wexler says, "Well, look, if you feel that strongly about it, then we'll put it out and we'll see what happens."
Uh-huh.
Well, what happened was that it was a #1 song in the United States. It was #2 in the UK and is famous around the world and is still being played today.
Yes.
So Rick Hall in his ears knew exactly what he was talking about. Now, trained musicians, I'm told, I can't tell this, but I'm told that trained musicians can tell that the horns are actually out of tune. Jerry Wexler knew that the horns were out of tune, and so when he agreed to put it out, he said, "Okay, I'm going to send you back the original version. Fix it." They did fix it, but somebody mixed up the tapes. And so what got out and what you hear is the original recorded version.
Uh-huh.
So, say, huge, huge song for Percy Sledge. Also, Michael Bolton, the singer who covers everything or covered everything, it seemed, in the 90s, he took the song again to #1. And, say, Bette Midler covered it. Canadian girl Luba covered it. Burton Cummings covered it. Very, very huge, huge song. Very popular. So, I'm going to stop talking about it and you can hear it. Here's When a Man Loves a Woman.
And as usual, I have to stop it right there due to the wonderful world of fair use rules. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. You can visit us on Facebook or head over to our website, songology.ca. Now, here's your chance to listen to the music or go on to the next episode.